Nerdly presents the feed where the reels unwind. Off the real podcast, digging deep in the grind. 80 flicks, low cash, big dreams in the frame. No blockbuster hype, just the realest in the game. Reviews so sharp, we cut through the noise.
So this is a movie that absolutely did not need to happen, and the fact that it merely exists and is out there and I have now seen it proves that this movie did not need to happen. I will tell you now, probably going to be spoilers. I'm probably going to be giving away some parts of this movie. I Know What You Did Last Summer, the reboot that nobody was asking for, and actually just took everything that was really cool that you loved about the original, took a massive big steaming hot turd on it, and made Freddie Prinze Jr. the friggin' killer. Freddie Prinze Jr. is the killer in this movie. My name is Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Presents Off the Reel. This is an Off the Reel review of the new remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, of I Know What You Did Last Summer. I am a little bit late to the party, but that's because I was so disinterested in this movie. But then I watched it, and it's so mean-spirited. It's so hateful to the originals, and just takes everything I loved about those movies, does a couple of really cool original things that might have been interesting, and then says, no, actually, we're just going to forget about all that, because guess what? The legacy characters are coming back, and we're going to get to do some cool shit with them. And one of those cool ass things that we're going to do with them is turn one of them into the serial killer, because that's what we're going to do with this crappy reboot. Jennifer Kaytin Robinson, the director of this movie. You are a very proficient director, I will say, because this movie does look good, it sounds good, it works well. It's just not great in terms of its execution. There wasn't one likable main character in this movie, but I feel like that's the point. Are we at the point where, because Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to be our big serial killer at the end, we don't know that until the end, are we supposed to be rooting for him because he's one of the characters from the original movies that we love? What are you doing here? What actually are you doing here? I will do what I normally do, and that is I will talk about the plot of the movie as much as it is. I will talk about the cast and the crew of the movie as much as they are. And I will tell you about what I did and didn't like about this movie. Then I will get into my nerdly off the reel review rating, and I'll get off the fence, but I feel like I'm already pretty much off the fence, and we can talk a little bit more about it. I will start though with the IMDb synopsis, because that's what I've been doing recently. I mean, it is a reboot of an old movie from 1997, so I feel like we already know where this is going to go. A group of friends are terrorized by a stalker who knows about a gruesome incident from their past. And that's it. The movie starts with our new gang. We've got 5 gang members in here, and I'll talk about why that's problematic in a second. But we've got 5 gang members in here. They're all out one night. They've been having a party because one of the girls has been getting engaged to one of the boys. So they're all out having a bit of fun. They all get high and they all get together. They get in the car. They drive around the road and they nearly hit someone. But lo and behold, the movie does something a little bit different, whereby they don't actually hit someone. One of the guys has been a bit of an arsehole. He's one of the jocks, and he's kind of messing about in the middle of the road. And then this van comes along, nearly hits him, swerves, and he basically ends up hanging off the cliff. The van goes over the cliff, and that's what Ben Cooper, we find out Ben Cooper was in the van, and he's the one that dies. So, of course, we cut to a year from now. Everyone's a little bit estranged now, but they're all kind of coming together for one reason or another. And when they do come together for another engagement part for the same girls get engaged to someone else within a year, so she's a bit of a hole. So we've got an engagement party for her now, and she receives a card that says, I know what you did last summer. So we're following the kind of the same playbook, but we do a couple of different little things. So for instance, that movie, the original movie, the 1997 movie, did happen. We are in the town where it happened. We meet this character quite early on who's talking to one of our main characters. They have a little bit of a session in the toilet where they're going down on each other. It's a really nice little scene, I guess. So we find out that she's now a lesbian, whereas at the start of the movie she was into this guy called Milo. Now she's a lesbian. She might not be by the end of the movie though. That's totally fine. I don't mind. It's 2025. We do what we gotta do. We do come to find out that this girl is actually a podcaster, because everyone's a friggin' podcaster in these movies, especially horror movies right now. So she's a little bit of a podcaster. She's come to the town because she wants to document. She's doing a podcast on like slashers, serial killers, all these kind of things. So wouldn't she be the perfect serial killer for this movie? You would think, like, at one point, I would have preferred that, but no, she gets killed kind of early on. Spoiler alert. So then that is the movie. Like, our cast and crew realize that they're being hunted by the same guy or somebody who's copycatting the original movie. Turns out it's Freddie Prinze Jr. and the fifth member of the group. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so we might as well just get into our cast and crew because I don't need to do spoilers. This movie very much follows the original formula up until the point where they decide to give you that curveball of, by the way, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. who's doing this. So yeah, again, Freddie Prinze Jr. is the killer in this movie. So let's talk about our key gang. We do have Madelyn Cline, which is an actress I do know of. I really enjoyed The Outer Banks. I will say Madelyn Cline's not the most amazing actress in the world, but she's very good at what she does. And in this movie, she's basically playing Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's basically playing her role from the original movie. Her boyfriend, who was Ryan Philippe in the original movie, is played by Tyriq Withers. He plays Teddy Spencer. So they're kind of like together at the start of the movie. They split up after the whole like accidental killing of someone, and then she ends up going with someone else. But don't worry, because he's going to die pretty soon anyway. We also meet Chase Sui Wonders, who I believe is actually going to be playing Buffy in the remake of the Buffy series. So in this movie, she's kind of playing the Jennifer Love Hewitt role. And she is seeing Jonah Hauer-King, who is basically playing the Freddie Prinze Jr. role. And then, of course, we do have our fifth member of the group, Stevie Ward, played by Sarah Pigeon. Now, I will say, when I watched this movie with my daughter, instantly, as soon as we realized there is a fifth member of this group who wasn't in the original movie, there was no fifth member to the group, it was the four key members, I instantly turned on my daughter and I said, she is the killer. She's going to end up being the killer at the end of this movie because in the original movie, she didn't exist. Lo and behold, it turns out, yes, she is one of the killers because there's this silly story about how she used to be a total alcoholic, meth head, whatever. She kind of finds God and she meets Ben Cooper, who is the guy that ends up dying, and then he dies falling off the cliff, but she didn't find that out till afterwards, so now she's gone a little bit mental. Now, in the movie, she's completely normal, she's completely realistic, and we get on with her until we get the twist at the end, and she goes all Stu Macher from Scream and goes a little bit crazy, like literally crazy. She's doing the eyes, she's doing the laugh, she's doing all that good stuff. So this is our core gang: Madelyn Cline, Chase Sui Wonders, Jonah Hauer-King, Tyriq Withers, and Sarah Pigeon. And I will say, they're all doing a fine job. They're all propping this movie up. They're all making us believe that they're a gang of friends. The only problem is you don't really like any of these characters. Not many of them have any redeemable qualities. But again, that's because we're in 2025 and I kind of feel like the writers and the director want us to not like these characters. By the end of this film, I couldn't have cared less if anybody survived. And they were coming out with dialogue like there's 3 writers credited on this movie, but it does almost feel like those 3 people went into different versions of ChatGPT and said, write me a reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer with 2025 cringy dialogue and just the most lackluster, uninspired kills you could ever come up with. And this is the movie they made. It does feel like they took what they thought was the best parts of those 3 things and put them together and made this movie. That's how it feels. Let's talk about the legacy characters because some of them do come back. Freddie Prinze Jr. is back. How I told you Freddie Prinze Jr. is back in this movie, and it turns out he's actually the killer. I love the way he's introduced in the town hall setting where they're all talking, they're all shouting above each other, and he's like, it's happened before. And I called that line of dialogue before it even happened. When he's like, it's happened before, back in 1997. It happened to me. Don't tell me it didn't happen. I saw it. It happened. He doesn't do all of that dialogue, but I'm a big fan of Star Trek and think that line absolutely rules. So I will put it into wherever I can. And he's kind of helping Stevie. So at first, Stevie works for him, which kind of like does cement the fact that they are both the killers in this movie. Why sign on to this thing if that's what they're going to do with your character? Jennifer Love Hewitt is also back, and she's still Julie James. She doesn't want to have anything to do with this. She doesn't want to come back to the town. She hates Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, rightly so as well, because guess what? He's the killer, mofos, and she figures this out by watching the news. So basically, all of this happens, a load of people get killed, turns out Stevie's the killer, and it's on the news. 10 minutes. It's like the Terrifier movie. You ever watch Terrifier? When that guy gets killed in the restaurant and then 10 minutes later it's on the radio about the fact that he's killed these people because they somehow managed to get all these police there, cordon the place off, do their investigation, and they know what happened now. That happens in this movie so that Julie James can figure out who the killer is, and oh my god, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. Wouldn't you believe it? Austin Nichols in this movie. I don't think he was in the original movies, but I do love Austin Nichols. One Tree Hill is an absolute favourite of mine. He's just a great actor. God damn it, he's hardly in the movie. He gets a couple of scenes, seems to be one of the best characters, and then gets his eyes cut out and gets killed. Spoiler alert, by the way. And, of course, as was spoiled by set photos, I think they wanted to spoil it, Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar, is in this movie. It's in sort of a nightmare form, although throughout the movie, she's everywhere. Like, her picture's plastered all over this movie. The podcaster woman who, like, is doing the investigation is obsessed with Buffy. She's obsessed with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I can't remember. Is it Helen Shivers? Helen Shivers. Yeah, Helen Shivers. And then she does this whole nightmare sequence where she basically tells Madelyn Cline, you are the worst thing in the world. You are going to kill people. I'm going to kill people. And it doesn't make a great deal of sense to me unless they were going to reveal, guess what, she didn't actually die in that original movie and she's the killer in this movie. But no, they did that with Freddie Prinze Jr. anyway. He didn't die in the original movies. He survived both movies, but he's in this movie and he's the killer in this movie. Did I tell you that? I feel like I told you that. But I've got to be honest with you, in terms of cast and everything like that, everybody's fine. They're all doing what they have to do. It does feel like Jennifer Love Hewitt is absolutely sleepwalking her way through these scenes. Like, she basically got paid to come back, and I don't think, like, when Neve Campbell comes back to the Scream franchise, it always feels like, oh, I'm so happy to be back in the Scream franchise. Courtney Cox is over there, Dewey's over there, Wes Craven, all this good stuff. Like, she's so happy to be in the Scream franchise. Jennifer Love Hewitt feels like she couldn't have given less of a shit about being in this movie as far as I could tell. That's my personal opinion. That is just my personal opinion, but it does kind of feel that way. And she just feels like, she even says, look, I don't want to be in this movie. She doesn't say she doesn't want to be in the movie. She says she doesn't want to be involved in the story. She doesn't want to be involved in the killings. She doesn't want to go back to the town. But it felt like really what she was saying was, you really need me in this movie? Like, I really have to come back for this? Really? What? Freddie Prinze Jr. is the killer? No, you can't do that. A little bit about what I did and didn't like. I think I've already pretty much told you that. I think the dialogue is generic as hell. A lot of it just doesn't make sense. There's a bit at the start where this guy's getting killed. He gets like a harpoon thing through his shoulder, and he's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what on earth was all that about? Madelyn Cline's up in the bath at the time, and then when she's coming down the stairs, there's candles everywhere because the killer takes the time to put candles and put writing on the wall and makes it all look nice, all lovey-dovey, and she's walking down the stairs, she's like, it's giving nuptials. Honestly, the dialogue in this movie at times is awkwardly, horrendously, unbelievably cringe. And again, it's a shame because there are moments like that bit at the start where they don't actually hit him in the middle of the road and then the car has to swerve to miss them. It felt original, it felt cool, it felt new, but it also felt like y'all didn't really have anything to do with this. Like, yes, he swerved to miss the guy, and that's a shame because he shouldn't have been in the middle of the road. But then for someone to come and start trying to kill them all for vengeance is kind of like, that's a stretch to me. I find that to be a bit of a stretch, especially when you get to the end and you realize one of the kids is one of the killers. What is that about? Why is she, like, once she realizes that he died and it was her friend, she then has to deal with that. But would she really go on a killing spree against a bunch of people who technically really kind of didn't have a lot to do with it? What is that about? And then Freddie Prinze Jr.'s motive of the town tried to sweep it all under the rug, and I can't have that. I need everyone to remember. Bullshit. You just get on with your life and you just get on with that. So yeah, that's one of the things I just didn't like. The story just doesn't really make a great deal of sense. I think the kills are very, very uninspired. Yes, they try and recreate some of the kills from the original movies. That's cool. I like seeing stuff like that. But let's do something different. Does it always have to be a hook through the neck, a hook through the throat, a hook through the cheek? Does it always have to be that? Can we not do something a little bit different? We got Ghostface with a shotgun. Do something like that. Just do something different, please. That's all I was wanting. And then the movie does the most egregious thing possible, because let's be honest, anybody who saw this movie didn't rate it. And if you did rate it, you maybe didn't see the originals and didn't realize how much they bastardized the legacy characters in this movie. So the movie finishes, it kind of gets to this point where we have our final girl or final girls. I'll not spoil that bit for you. And then one of them goes, oh, by the way, Stevie survived. Stevie, who was shot in the shoulder or shot in the head and fell off the boat by Freddie Prinze Jr. of all people, fell off the boat. Oh, she survived, so she's most likely going to come back in another movie. So we get that scene, and then we get the end credits, and lo and behold, it comes back on, and there's Moesha. Moesha from Moesha fame, Brandy, is there on the screen watching the news, and she sees Julie James on the news, and she sees that it's all happened all over again. She's like, damn, people really want to kill that white girl. Fine, whatever, do the line if you want to do the line. And then the door goes, and there's Julie James. It's not finished. Do they really think they're going to be doing a sequel to this movie? They're not going to be doing a sequel to this movie. And if they do, oh my god, there's only so much you can ruin these characters. There's only so much you can ruin the franchise. But if they do, I'm going to watch it, because I want to do something like this. I have been very, very positive as of late with a lot of my reviews, because I do tend to pick my movies very, very carefully. And I had some semblance of hope for this movie. I love a good horror. I love a good teen slasher. This just didn't feel like a teen slasher. Maybe it's what teen slashers look like in 2025, but it didn't feel like the teen slashers I know and love. It really didn't. So that was just enough for me. Yeah, I'm going to get into my final rating, and perfectly honest with you, I'm going to give this movie a 2. It gets a 2 out of 5, and that is purely because it's watchable, it's coherent, it kind of makes sense in a way. It's edited very well. There's some really cool songs in there, I guess. Although the old movies would have had better soundtrack, because the old movies just always did. I hated the fact that Freddie Prinze Jr. is the killer in the end of this movie. Did I mention that? I feel like I did cover that, right? I did cover that. And so Stevie, the girl who wasn't in the original movie, she wasn't in the gang, but she's in the gang in this movie. And even at the start of the movie, she's estranged from everyone. So then she's going to be even more estranged when they kill her friend. I struggle to want to sit down and talk about this movie, because I don't like being negative. I like to pick positives from movies. And this movie does have some positives. They got a cast and crew together. They made it. It went in the cinema. I assume it made money. I doubt it made its budget back. Well, actually, no. It probably did make its budget back, because I doubt it cost very much to make as it is. It brought back some legacy characters and gave them a job for a few days. So, yeah, those are all positive things about this movie. But honestly, the acting is fine. They didn't do anything majorly wrong. They were probably doing exactly what was asked of them. The directing's fine. I just think the story itself, completely uninspired. And yes, we're rebooting a movie, so we kind of have to follow that original film. But when you add little things that seem new, fresh, and original, and then just decide to drop them, I got a problem with that. I do have a problem with that. So yeah, it's 2 out of 5. I am really, really sorry I couldn't be more positive about this film. I wish I could have been. I do think you should check it out, if anything, just so you can have a little bit of a giggle to yourself about what these people are doing on the screen and what counts as a reboot of a classic movie. Scream done this absolutely right when they came back, and they have this new trilogy. They have this new theme that they're going with. They've done it absolutely right. This movie just felt like it was stealing from far too many different things. It was far too dependent on a plot that was written by ChatGPT. Have you seen the movie though? Hit me in the comments down below. We can continue the conversation down there. If you think I'm dead wrong and this is a really, really cool reboot or remake of a movie that you love, let me know. We can talk about it down there. If you agree with me and think it's just a little bit pants, if you're a little bit pissed off that I told you Freddie Prinze Jr. is the killer in this movie, because by the way, Freddie Prinze Jr. is the killer in this movie, hit me down below there as well. But I did tell you up front, spoiler warning, and there will be in the title spoiler warning. So just hold back your keyboard warrior nonsense. In the meantime, hit that like, hit that subscribe, ding that notification bell. It all helps with the algorithm. If you don't want to do any of that stuff, just let somebody know who we are, what we do, and where we are. Somebody over on the website, nerdly.co.uk, may have also reviewed this movie. Go over and check out there. I'm sure they'll be a lot more favourable than I have been. I just think this movie didn't need to happen, and after having seen it, I feel like my apprehension and my thoughts of it not needing to happen are completely justified. My name is Kevin Halden, and if I don't see you in the cinema, I will see you in the next review.